Back in your parents' and maybe your grandparents' generation, retirement was considered a three-legged stool. And the way that retirement planning worked is, in number one, you had your pension. Your company would pay you a pension after you retire, which would give you a guaranteed income after you retire. Then you would get Social Security from the government. So now you have the pension from your job, then you have this check from the government, which you've been paying into from your work, and then you have number three, which is your personal savings. Well, what's happening now is these pensions are essentially extinct. Very few companies, if at all, give any sort of pension to their employees. Then Social Security is, well, drying up. And in order to fund now future Social Security checks, especially if you're under the age of 45 right now, chances are the benefits that you get from Social Security, even though you're going to be paying into Social Security for your entire life, aren't going to be as strong as, well, maybe your parents or your grandparents. So Social Security isn't going to be there the same way that it was, which leaves your personal savings, your investments, and the things that you do to fund your own retirement. And the problem with this is most people aren't given any sort of financial education. You can see why this is a problem because, well, most people didn't need financial education to be able to fund a retirement. But nowadays, when you don't have this sort of guaranteed income, you have to become financially educated and you have to start thinking ahead, because if you don't, you're going to turn 65 and then really be hit with a reality check, because now you're going to realize that you're not going to be able to retire and live the life that you wanted because you didn't prepare. This is why it is so important to understand this and then start building upon that financial education. The good news here is that unlike what the majority of people think, this type of planning doesn't have to be very difficult. I mean, Warren Buffett talks openly about what he says the majority of people could do to retire wealthy without becoming a full-time investor. Let me read you a quote from what he gave to CNBC. Warren Buffett's advice to somebody who wants to retire wealthy is, quote, consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund and keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. Here's what that means. Instead of trying to go out and finding the next hot stock to invest in, maybe let's just say Amazon, because when most people try to invest in a company like Amazon, they don't know how to decide if it's a good company or bad company. Sure, maybe you use Amazon, but how do you know if the financials are good? How do you know if the executives are good? How do you know if their profits are growing? How do you know if their revenues are growing? How do you know if they're investing their money the right way? If you're interested in doing that, you can learn about how to do that sort of financial analysis and how to do all the fundamental analysis. But for 90 to 95% of people, they don't care and they're not interested and they don't want to do that. The alternative to investing in a company like Amazon and betting on that, because now when you invest in one company, all of your eggs are in one basket. So if Amazon went bankrupt and you invested your money in Amazon, all of your money would go to zero. On the flip side, if you invest in Amazon and Amazon takes over the world, you would make a lot of money, but you're taking on a lot of risk. So what is the alternative? This is where Warren Buffett says, buy the S&P 500 index. The S&P 500 is a group of the 500 largest companies on the stock market. So now, instead of investing in the Amazon company, you invest in this fund that gives you exposure into Amazon, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Walmart, Google, Apple, and hundreds of other companies. There are 500 companies in this basket. And now, instead of trying to just invest in one company, you invest in this fund that gives you exposure to 500 different companies. That way now, you don't have to worry about what each individual company is doing. You don't have to worry about listening to all the individual earnings calls. You don't have to worry about doing all the financial analysis. What he's saying is that just keep investing into this thing for the long term through the thick and the thin, especially the thin. That means when things go rough, when the economy is struggling, when you see market crashes, when you see a recession, you don't stop investing in this. You don't panic and sell out of this. You keep buying more. Historically, we have seen that this strategy has worked. Does that guarantee that you're going to always make money when you invest in the S&P 500? No, of course not. Investing has risks. You're never guaranteed to make money when you invest. You might even lose money, which is why you should always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. But the idea is, if you believe in the American economy, and if you think in 20 years or in 30 years or in 40 years, the American economy is going to continue to be strong and it's going to continue to grow over the next number of decades, well, this is going to give you exposure to the biggest 500 companies in the American economy, and now you're essentially owning a piece of the American economy, and as the economy grows, well, so does your investment portfolio, because you own a piece of the American economy. Listen to me, I'm not telling you what to invest in, I'm just talking about this as an example so you understand how to invest your money. But if you do want more education on how to start investing, how to start generating cash flow, and how to make your investments work, we have a free ebook in Market Insiders that goes over how to start investing your money. You can read this ebook for free. So if you want to read this ebook and continue to build your investing education, I'll put that link for you down in the description below. If you enjoyed this short clip from my longer videos, here's another clip that I think you'll love. And while you're at it, if you're interested in learning more about how to start generating passive income, our team put together an amazing guide on how to start generating passive income for free. All you got to do is click that button right over there. Thank you for watching, and as always, keep hustling.